There we are. There we are. First mistake of the day. But it is Wednesday morning. What does that mean? I have no idea. It's no idea at all. But it is Wednesday, the 15th of February, 2023. Oh, time catches up with us. All the things we should have done that we haven't done. But the one thing that we have to worry about today, I think, is that at long last, and we've been listening to Liza Page wittering on about how we being privacy and democratic form of government and so on and so forth, governance has been under attack from various sources. And this morning she is exonerated, I think, those who think like her, because we now have confirmation from our armed forces chiefs that the Chinese are watching us in every move. Drones, cameras, phones, you name it. They have been turning them out so that in the way that government purchases the lowest tender is we've been buying like crazy, and now what we've done is we've installed a spy system for them. Ha ha ha! Well done. Well done. Wouldn't you know it? I mean, that's our present leadership, isn't it? Hey, you want to spy on us? Ah, give us your cameras and we'll put them up. He says, you can't make this up. We really are living in Alice in Wonderland, or Alice through the looking glass, more like. Anyway, we still do have some newspapers that have got some merit. So let's take a look at the front pages and what's going on this morning in this country of ours. And first of all, the Financial Times. And the Financial Times is focusing on the fact that the Russians are beginning to amass their troops on the border of, well, not just the border, because they're over the border. But the headline is Russia masses aircraft within striking range of Ukraine targets. The West warns. I mean, the West warns is all right. According to Western intelligence, Russia is massing aircraft within striking range of the Ukraine, indicating that Moscow is preparing to escalate its attacks. It is the 1-year anniversary of the war, and the paper's main image shows Chinese President Xi Jinping welcoming his Iranian counterpart, Ibrahim Raisi, to Beijing. While an article at the bottom of the front page says Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and Chancellor Jeremy Hunt are discussing backdating New Year's pay awards for NHS staff as part of efforts to end the wave of public sector strikes. Well, at least they're doing something. They're doing something. But it's the Russian massing troops that catches the attention of most headlines. And Putin ain't giving up. One didn't expect that he would. But the agreement to provide troops to Ukraine from many sources, including the United States, is it enough? Is it too much, too little, too late, too soon? The fact of the matter is, of course, is that there are an awful lot of people in governance, not only our own, but in Europe and so on and so forth, who really don't believe that Russia is a threat. What they really do is they say, let's give you Ukraine just for the sake of peace. Pretty nasty. It's a pretty nasty viewpoint. They are all for them being able to say what they want to say with freedom. But when it comes to somebody else, protecting somebody else's freedom, they back off. We see the worst and the worst in human nature as a result of this war. Well, there we are. Is the Financial Times, which has broken once again from looking solely at the business community and looking at what's happening in the rest of the world. The Daily Express: defiant army chiefs say we can stand up to Putin. There's no reason why we can't. These are drones that the Chinese use. Nonetheless, we can take a look at them, and here are some of our own missiles, and the tanks that have been promised. Our army chiefs are saying, yes, we can stand up to Putin. And they are ready and able if Russia attacks a NATO ally, the generals say. That's the headline in the Express. The Daily Mail: worry about the Chinese cameras 6 feet over our heads. Well, what the Mail is saying is, hey, listen, everybody is getting all excited about drones and balloons and so on and so forth. Is all you got to do is to look ahead, look overhead, and what you've got is enough cameras bristling throughout the country, all made by China, most of them Chinese, and all apparently secretly built to spy on us. So every time that somebody is sitting in a control room somewhere looking at the people on the street, is the Chinese are doing the same thing. You can look at almost anywhere in this country. So if we say we are amassing troops ready to come and fight you, all they got to do is to push a button to find out whether we're telling the truth or not. Ha ha! Oh yes, wonderful. Right, okay. The Guardian goes exactly the same message. Beijing could use police cameras to spy on Britain. And concerns around Chinese-made cameras is on the front page of The Guardian, which says British police are leaving themselves open to spying by Beijing. The paper's main image shows a vigil in Liverpool for Brianna Gray, a 16-year-old transgender girl who was stabbed to death over the weekend in a park in Cheshire. That actually is taken up by, in fact, taken up by Metro. Was it a hate crime? For the second day in a row, the Metro leads on the murder of Brianna Gay, with its article saying that police are investigating whether her killing was a hate crime. It's, they would know because they are looking into things very, very closely now. They're being, I think that it's beginning to realize that the things that are happening are frightening. And, everybody says, is why look at international things. in a local context. It's because you need to see international things in a local context. It's absolutely vital that we don't see ourselves in we don't see ourselves in a totally parochial sense. Yes, of course we have to worry about what's happening on our doorstep, but we also have to worry about the things that are happening in the wider sense. What the Metro asks is, was it a hate crime? And they're asking about the murder of this lady on the weekend. The Daily Star, RAF chief. Let's find out what's in the UFOs before we all get too excited. Aha. Who's the Star really it's all about little green men. Don't shoot E.T. is the headline, and the Star continues its focus on the spy balloon saga. Is yesterday quoting the White House saying it's not ruling out extraterrestrial involvement. And today, an ex-RAF chief, Sir Michael Graydon, is saying it will be useful to find out what's actually in the UFOs before we get too excited. In comments that may or may not have been made exclusively to the paper, Hollywood alien E.T. is quoted as saying, "That's a good idea." Oh dear. The Star certainly does keep us amused. The Eye. Women face postcode lottery for HRT supply. Well, the main thrust for that is that HRT, which used by many women, is in short supply, and so patients living in poorer areas are less likely to be prescribed hormone replacement therapy amid widespread shortage of the what you call it, a drug of HRT. The Sun. Nicola stained glove found. Well, is what the Sun is saying is that Nicola, I think his name is Bully, is it? Yes, Nicola Bully, who disappeared while walking her dog on the weekend along the river banks. They've now found a pair of, or a mitten that is possibly hers, hanging on a tree, raising the spectre again, keeping speculation alive that she did not just fall into the river, but there's something sinister about her disappearance. The Daily Telegraph, all right, okay. The sick note crackdown is going to take place to boost the workforce. One in 7 of us wants to stay at home totally, to work at home altogether. Many, many more want to work at home a couple of days a week, which the economists say is just simply not working. The output is not up to snuff, and so everybody should go back to work. It says efforts by the government to deal with the issue of people missing work through sickness is got to be looked at, and doctors are being told to sign fewer people off with sick notes from work, and instead help them to remain in employment to tackle people missing work with long-term sickness in the wake of COVID. The paper main photo shows King Charles being presented with a rose as he greets members of the public in London's Trafalgar Square. The Mirror is it's a domestic story, really. I can't even bother with it. It's not this unimportant, but it's not earth-shattering. The Times: back me or leave the party, Starmer tells the Labour left, and he is. The paper's main story looks at the dynamics inside the Labour Party, with its leader, Sir Keir Starmer, reportedly telling hard left MPs within the party either to back him and his policies or quit the party. And that seems to me to be fair enough. If you've got a leader, you elected a leader, he sets out his platform, but you decide to change your focus and you're against him and just being disruptive and so on, go and set your stall out, but not within the organization that you subscribe to. You're crazy, absolutely crazy. Starmer has got his work cut out to get the Labour Party back under control, because the hard left most certainly won't come to heel just by telling them to. Now let's take a look at local news. There are 3 dead in a horror crash in Eastbourne, and it closed the road for over 12 hours. 3 people died, and a road in Eastbourne was shut for more than 12 hours after the incident on Monday night. 3 men, all from Berkshire, were pronounced dead at the scene. Their next of kin have been informed, say the police. Not much extra on that. Officers said the crash involved a single vehicle, and emergency services were called to Decoy Drive in the town at around 11 p.m. The road stayed shut until shortly before 5 p.m. or on Tuesday. Right, okay, so that's... let's see. Here we go. Now, this is a nice one. This is a very nice one. A large snake has been spotted at a popular walking spot in South Downs. Now, this isn't necessarily the snake, this is just a snake. But a large adder snake is spotted at Mill Hill in Shoreham by a local dog walker. Is a large adder has been spotted in around Mill Hill. It was enjoying the sunshine on Tuesday, which is a beauty spot in the South Downs. The snake was seen basking in the sunshine, which they do in March at the earliest. The local dog walker who spotted the snake put out a post on Facebook to remind fellow dog walkers to stay vigilant and make sure their dogs don't approach the reptile. Hey. How interesting. Keep your eye out for snakes. And there is an item about McDonald's bringing back 3 popular burgers. Sounds more like an advertorial to me. So those are the headlines. Hey, by gum. Now, what we'll do is we'll try and bring me back if nobody minds. There we go. As a mixed bag this morning, but I think that the most prominent thing for us to keep our eye on is that the Russians are amassing their troops again. Is that people say, oh, well, why is that such an important story? Well, it's an important story because they're amassing on Ukraine's border at the moment. But the Putin has no morals whatsoever. and it could be that we suddenly find them squatting on our shores. We are vulnerable. We've let our armed forces go downhill to the alarm of both the Americans and NATO and our European colleagues. We are not the heavyweight that we used to be, and which means that people aren't as well trained as they used to be. So we are vulnerable in that sense. And now, while I have personally said, we've got to pay less attention to cyber law and cyber activity, is totally accept the fact that drones and cameras and balloons and all sorts of things are busy spotting our every move. And that if somebody does want to invade the UK, it's easy enough now for them to get information. And it's not just the Chinese, because the Chinese will quite happily flog information to anybody to get some of their money back. So they've got something that is worthwhile. I can't see. Well, there is a story here that a boy suffers potentially life-threatening injuries after a stabbing near McDonald's in Ware, in Worthing, and the boy is 16, and he's got potentially life-threatening injuries. The violent crime after COVID, after lockdown, we were told that it was likely to happen. And indeed, it is happening. We are finding that there's more crime on the streets. At one time, we would say, that only happens in London. It's starting to happen down here now, and increasing regularity between Brighton and Worthing and Hove, and for that matter, Hastings and St Leonard's and even Rye. So it looks as if there's an increase in the pandemic. Or, do we say pandemic about knife crime? I think we do, actually. So my rant this morning is still on the business of computers. Computers are designed to help us, not to take over from us. And you can see what's happening is the armed forces now have been whittled down. Stupid decisions are made at local level in governance. Stupid decisions are made at national level in governance. Stupid decisions are made at international level in governance. And why? Because we all rely far more than we should on the use of computers to do our work for us. It just can't do the work for us. I'm sorry, it cannot. And I think that the banks are busy committing suicide, shooting themselves at least in the foot, because they are closing down on the basis that the computer's going to help them. You watch. Somebody is going to do a cyber raid on their computers. The whole thing will be thrown into chaos. And will the banks care? No, they'll just put out how awful they think people are. It's not on. It is not good. Right, it is 8:55. The weather this morning is well. Let's get it exactly. For us at the moment, looking outside, it's quite good. Here we go. There was a bit of a mist around this morning, but it seems to be receding. Right. It's going to reach 11 degrees today, and that's going to be much the same story right throughout the rest of the week. 11 degrees, but today we've got sun, absolutely plenty of sun. And it started off from a low base too, 6 degrees. A moderate breeze, a gentle breeze, but other than that, a rather nice day outside. And tomorrow it's going to rain. It's still going to reach 11 degrees, and Friday it's going to reach 12 degrees. And there's no suggestion of rain on Friday and Saturday. Plenty of cloud around, but it's only tomorrow that we're going to get rain from the in the local area. So that is more or less the way it stands this morning. Is certainly a big worry coming up about the Russians and what they're doing. If it's a war of attrition, the one thing that the Russians have got is plenty of manpower. Yes, they've had the same problems with national service, conscription, and I was going to say prescription. and they've had a bloodied nose, but they're not giving up. They're not giving up at all. And they have started to strategically place their armed forces in the areas that they found vulnerable last time when they first attacked a year ago. So we need to be very vigilant about what the Russians are up to. I say the Russians, in some ways, really, it's a bit like the Germany in the last war. Is we had Germans and Nazis had to be separated because it's the Nazis who were in power and who were propagating this sort of stuff. The average German probably wasn't at all happy about the situation. And here it is now with the average Russian showing some dissent to the war in Ukraine. But unfortunately, it's Mr. Putin and his inner circle who are in charge, who've got the power. It's 5:59. Can't remember what I said I would get back. Never mind. What we're going to do is we're now going to take a half hour's break. We will be no, we'll be back earlier than that. We'll be back at 9:30, and we will be taking another jolly look at the bloody past of a tiny town. We have, in the last 10 days or so, shown episodes of our documentary, which gives you some background, some historical background to the town. We've had a big turnover in population. Many people don't know much about the town that they live in. So we're showing our tongue-in-cheek documentary about the whole thing, but nonetheless, it's a documentary that is helping. It's 9 o'clock. Goodness gracious me. In that case, we had better say toodlepip. And in saying toodlepip, it is only temporary because we will be back, as we said. We will be back in 30 minutes and with a little bit of historical background. So until then, I should say, I suppose I should say goodbye, except I don't know how to get rid of this particularly. Yes, I do. And get rid of it I will, because it would be impolite for me to disappear without looking you in the eye and saying, it's been great to be with you. I hope you'll come back for more stuff in the next hour. More stuff at 9:30. 9:30. Count the minutes. Count the seconds. Well, may add up into days, I suppose. Absolutely right. Never mind. Here we go. We say farewell, and we'll be back with you in 30 minutes.